I was abandoned at birth. I was raised by strangers, and I spent years wondering if I was wanted. And here's what God showed me. If you've ever felt like you don't belong, like you're too much or not enough, or if you've thought you'd healed something only to realize that there were layers you couldn't even see, then this story is for you. Because what I'm about to share isn't just about adoption, it's about identity and belonging. And the moment that I realized that healing isn't a one-time event, it's a journey with God that goes deeper than we could ever imagine. My name is Kelsey Michele, and I'm a faith-based coach, and I help Christian women rebuild their confidence and identity after hard seasons. But before I had ever coached anyone, I had to learn this truth for myself. And it started the day I was born, when my biological mother walked away. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through a couple things. First, my adoption story, the parts that I've never really fully shared publicly. Second, the identity wound that followed me around for decades. Am I wanted? Am I enough? Third, how I thought I'd healed it all with therapy, medication, and spiritual growth, only to discover that there were layers that I actually couldn't reach on my own. Fourth, the moment that God showed up in the back room of a conference and delivered me from the spirit of abandonment. And fifth, why that deliverance wasn't the end, but was actually the beginning of a deeper healing journey. And at the end, I have a message for anyone who's ever felt unwanted or out of place. So let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, so I was born to a biological mother who was a drug user. She abandoned me at birth, and my adoptive father, up until about my mid-20s, he was unknown. And I'd spent my early years in the foster care system before being placed with my adoptive family when I was about 6 months old. But my adoption wasn't actually finalized until I was almost 3 years old. And then when I was 18 months, my biological mother had another baby with a different man, and the courts asked my adoptive family if they wanted to adopt her too. And they said yes. So I was raised with my biological half-sister, 2 girls, same broken beginning, but the same second chance. And my adoptive parents, they gave me a good life. My adoptive father was deeply involved in the Catholic Church. We spent a lot of time in ministry. We did missionary trips to Mexico, building homes for displaced men near the Tijuana border. I went through confirmation, had the sacraments, took my first communion, and my first rosary was a gift from my grandma. So from the outside, it looked like I had everything that I needed. But on the inside, I was carrying a question that I really didn't know how to ask. If my own mother didn't want me, am I even worth keeping? And that question became the lens that I saw everything through. In school, I became known as one of the crazy sisters because of the mental health struggles that my sister and I both faced. And I worked really hard to prove that I was valuable. I tried to get good grades. I was a people pleaser, just trying to earn love. And I internalized responsibility. I'd become the strong one, the caretaker, the one holding everything together. And no matter what I did, though, I couldn't shake this feeling that I was too much and not enough, like at the same time. And here's the thing about identity wounds. They don't just affect how you see yourself, they affect how you see God. Because if you believe that you're unwanted by people, it's really hard to believe that you're chosen by God. I knew the Bible said that I was loved. I knew the verses, but deep down, I didn't feel it. I thought God tolerated me, that He was disappointed in me, that I had to perform to stay in His good graces. And that belief, it showed up in ways I didn't even realize. So I did the work. I really did. I went to therapy. I took medication when and where I needed it. I learned the language for my wounds, abandonment, anxiety, fear of being alone. And honestly, I did see progress. There was a time when I would spend the day with a friend or a boyfriend, and the moment that they would leave to go home, I would get this just wave of anxiety. Being alone felt terrifying, like I was being left all over again. But as I continued to grow in my faith, that really started to shift itself. I started craving alone time, time with God, and it really wasn't as scary anymore. It had become something that I actually viewed as sacred. And I thought, okay, I got this. I healed this. I've done the work. I am good. But there was still this feeling, this sense of being the black sheep, like I didn't quite fit in, even in the spaces where I should have belonged. And I didn't realize how deep that went until I was in a coaching container, me being coached, and my coach asked us to do this exercise. They said, describe how your parents loved, how they treated money, how they showed affection, and then your grandparents. And I froze. And I got all defensive in my head, and I said, oh, that doesn't apply to me. And then the tears came, and I started crying, like a lot of tears. And I didn't understand why it had hit me so hard, because it actually was something that was still there. It was like this layer that hadn't really been touched. So fast forward a week later, I was at a faith conference called Encounter. One of my coaches, or both my coaches, were speaking. It was for faith leaders, coaches, just people really doing ministry work. And I was sitting front row, ready to take notes, really just ready to learn. And the speaker got up stage and said something I'm never going to forget. He said, I had this entire teaching prepared, but as I prayed before this session, the Holy Spirit was telling me that somebody needed to hear my testimony today. Okay. And then he started out his testimony with 3 words: my birth family. I was like, oh no, he's probably adopted. This is going to be triggering. So I got up and I moved to the back of the room, and I thought, well, maybe if I just listened from a distance that I would be okay. But I was not okay. Silent tears started streaming down my face, and I could not stop them. And my coach noticed, and one of the other gals, and they came over and they asked, what's going on? And I said, I don't know why I'm crying. I thought I healed all of this. And I told them about the black sheep and the exercise from earlier that week. And she looked at me and she said, you might have healed it, but you haven't healed it through the Lord. And right there in that back room of that house where the conference was being held, I experienced deliverance for the first time. Deliverance from the spirit of abandonment. And my coach prayed over me, and the speaker, the one who had just shared his testimony, he came to the back to support her in that moment. And I felt something break off of me that I didn't even know that I was carrying. It felt like a sense of relief, but I also felt a little disassociated because of how different that experience was. In all of this, here's what I want you to understand. That deliverance wasn't the end. It actually was my beginning, because what that moment showed me is there were more layers hiding in that spirit of abandonment that I couldn't see on my own, that I couldn't see in the room with a therapist. Therapy helped me understand the wound and the past and how I got here. And the medication helped me manage the symptoms. But growing in my faith helped me feel safe with God. But the deliverance exposed the root. And the work is still happening. It will continue to happen. But the work is different now. I'm not numbing anymore. I'm not performing anymore. I'm not trying to prove I'm worth keeping, because I know deep down in my spirit that I was never unwanted. I was chosen. I was grafted in. I was placed. And the same God who placed me in my adoptive family is the same God who has been walking through every single layer of healing. He's not afraid of my mess. He is not disappointed in the process. He is just faithful every single time. So if you're watching this and you've ever felt like you don't belong, if you've done therapy and you've read the books and prayed the sermons, prayed the prayers, and you still feel like something is missing, if you've ever thought, I should be healed by now, why am I still struggling with this? Let me tell you something that I tell my clients, and I wish that I had been told at a younger age, is that healing isn't linear. And it's also not a one-time event. It is a journey with God that goes deeper than we can ever imagine. And we're not broken because it's taking us time to do it, and we're not failing because there's these multiple layers. We are human, and God is patient. He is not rushing you. He is walking this with you. And every single layer that he reveals, it is not to shame you. It is to free you. You are not unwanted. You are not too much. And you are not forgotten. You are seen. You are known. You are loved. And he is not done writing your story. Adoption taught me that belonging isn't about biology. It's about being chosen. And deliverance taught me that healing isn't about doing it all on my own. It's about letting God reach into the places that I can't. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. You are exactly where he wants you. And he is still healing you. He's healing one layer at a time. So if you're like, I need to go deeper. I need to rebuild my identity. I need to hear God's voice again and really just step into the peace and purpose that I know he has for me, then I'd love to invite you into my program. It's called the Settle and Soar Pathway. It's a 12-week program for women who are ready to stop striving and just start soaring in who they are. And you can learn more in the link below in the description. And lastly, I just want to thank you for being here, and I will see you on the next one.